Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the live stream. Let's jump right into this one. Today is Permitting Tuesday. We are talking about how to get your permits taken care of in 78956 Schulenburg, Texas. This was submitted by a customer, but more on that later. As always, let's get into the regular programming. So, as every day, $500 off your Mallett building if you are a healthcare worker, first responder, military personnel, teacher, and or educator. This is just our way of saying thank you for what you do for our community, for everyone in it, how you help every single day. This is our way of giving back to you, and you can get $500 off your Mallett building. Now, speaking of cash off, if you comment Tiger Cash, we have our wonderful Christmas tiger right here because it is December, which means it's the holiday season, and I love Christmas, so there's about to be a lot of Christmas in here. Just get ready for that. Ho, 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 and all the jingle bells and all that stuff. So comment cash on a live video like this, and you can get $1,000 off your next elite or signature Mallett building. Now, keep in mind, this does not apply to specials or promotional prices. Those are already really good prices. It's like getting several $1,000s off. But if you're interested in a Mallett building that is an elite or a signature that is not involved in a special or promotion, you can get $1,000 off, and there's more. If you fall into one of these special categories, that is $1,500 off because yes, you can combine them. So keep that in mind and make sure you don't miss out on that free money going back into your pocket. Our little Christmas tiger is so cute. Look at him. I'm gonna think of a name for him, maybe Nick, but we'll see. Anywho, where's Mallett? We are in over 89 job locations this week alone, you guys. We have 68 in Louisiana, 19 in Texas, and 2 in Mississippi for a grand total of 89 jobs. All these cool little pinpoints are going around the map showing you where we're at. In Louisiana, break it down a little bit more. Well, those numbers don't add up right there. We'll fix that later. Anywho, in Louisiana, we have gutters, forms, plumbing, delivery, inspections, concrete, in construction finishers, and buildings on the ground ready to be constructed all in Louisiana this week. Everywhere from Ragley to Adis to Ethel, Iota, Church Point, Boyce, Florine, Youngsville, Manny, Folsom, Shreveport, Albany, New Iberia, Homa, Sunset, Cottonport, Oberlin, New Orleans. I think you get the picture. We're all over the place. Here in the Gulf region, we are definitely going strong for the Mallett buildings, and we love seeing it. Can't wait to see your city on there next. Now, in Texas, got 19 job sites going on. And let's see, we're in Florine, Crosby, Oakwood, Warren, Columbus, San Leon. We have gutters, forms, buildings on the ground, buildings being delivered, inspections, concrete, finishers, in construction, all going on this week. Happy Tuesday, Mr. Tim. A cold over here also. Yuck. I hate the cold. I hate the cold. This is a very thick jacket. Me and the cold don't vibe very well. But Mallett and your buildings vibe very well because we know how to put a building up, cold or heat. So that's just fun. Keep that in mind. But where's Mallett? That's where we're at. If you are currently on the list and you made the board, please be sure to comment a picture of your current build going on. We'd love to see the customer's perspective. If you've already got a building from us finished and you're tuning in, first and foremost, thank you so much for your business. We hopefully met your expectations and far exceeded them. We are very appreciative of all the efforts and the things that you've allowed us to do and put your building up, but we'd love to see it. So comment a picture here on the live, and we'd love to feature you this Friday on the Week in Review. Now, December specials and promotions, you guys, we got some good ones. For $16,999. First and foremost, that's a great price, but let's check out what you get for it. In the spirit of the holidays, we are having a Christmas Rival neighborhood special. These are meant to be thrown in, to be put in subdivisions and neighborhoods to help match, Mr. Tim, don't get mad, the HOA codes as well as the sizing restrictions of a lot of subdivisions with smaller lots of land. Therefore, we're starting out with a 20 by 40, a little bit more narrow, a little bit deeper, and you're gonna have 20 by 40 by 12 for $16,999, you guys. Happy holidays. But with the Rival, of course, first and foremost, the Rival series is built by Mallett. So we're gonna bring it to you, we're gonna build it, it's gonna be business as usual, but it is not built to the Mallett building standards. For anyone new who's watching or maybe tuning in later, let me explain to you what that means. Mallett building standards is here. Traditional normal building standards are about right here. This is what most other people build to. This is the standards that is just legal, that is okay to build, and you're going to be all right. This is where Mallett sits. The rival is going to fall right here. Why, you might ask? Because to get Mallett standard at this price, I don't understand how you can do it. But to make a budget-friendly building, this is what we got for you guys. 29 gauge metal, 4-on-12 roof pitch, 2x6 common flat trusses. The buildings are going to be 130 mile an hour wind rating though, but you're not going to have uplift control, so no Mallett cable lock system. It's going to have the posts in the dirt or gravel, 3,000 PSI concrete, 2x12 headers, no ground protection, so no skirt boards, 2-year workmanship warranty, and number 2 untreated generic lumber. That is going to be a standard building, not a Mallett standard building, but a standard building. So because of that, we can offer these amazing prices of $16,999. And if I do say so myself, still a great looking building. Anywho, moving along to the next portion of the special, we're going to have 20 by 50 by 12. Again, same specs, same standards, very budget friendly. $20,999, you guys. So you get a 20 by 50 by 12 for $20,999. Merry Christmas. That's a great gift for somebody. So keep that in mind when you're looking around for the holidays, for your shopping. This could be something to consider, you guys. And I understand, the holidays, we're all spending a little bit more money than usual. Ask us about our financing options. We have plenty of availability to get you in the door and signed and ready to get your building under construction. Don't worry. It doesn't all have to be upfront every time. We can work with you. So talk to your building specialist, 337-214-0428. That's the Mallett phone number. It's going to put you right in. Just ask for a building specialist. They'll put you through. But that's the rival, you guys. That's our holiday special for December. Rival will require an upgrade for builds closer to the coast. That's a good point, Mr. Tim. As much as I'd love to get into that conversation, I think that's a better conversation for the building specialists. They're going to have more of those specs, more of those ideas of what needs to be built there. But you are correct. Upgrades and a Mallett standard is more admirable on the coastline. I do agree with you there. So keeping the rival going, we just wanted to let you guys know about what we have going on in the rival series. 30 by 30 by 12, $18,999. Come on. Come on. Not a Mallett building, Mallett built. We went over that a second ago. And I'm just going to breeze through these because we just talked about a lot of the rival specs. 30 by 50 by 12 for $27,999. Still a wonderful price, large building. And a 40 by 60, guys, that's a big building, for $39,999. This will get you a building on the ground and it won't put a big dent in your pocket. For the size of the building, of course. I understand $39,999 isn't pocket change, but it's also not the price of what it could be. So keep that in mind when you're looking around. We have budget options here, you guys. Check it out. There is a link in the description now depicting all the information of the rival and what it involves. If that's something you're interested in, please visit the link, check it out, and give us a call. We'd love to help get you in one. Now, the brand new Mallett Ambassador Club. If I had a round of applause sound effect, I'd put it here. Peyton! I miss you more. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, we redid the Ambassador Club. I'm going to talk about it now. Built by you, built for you. We've put this tagline here because, first and foremost, without you, our wonderful ambassadors who at one point were simply, I don't want to say simply, at one point began their journey as customers, and now you're an ambassador. First off, thank you so much. We're going to give some special attention here soon to the brand new ambassadors that we're adding to the list here, but built by you because without you, we couldn't have a program. Without you, we couldn't be Mallett Buildings. Without you, we wouldn't have been here for 27 years. So first and foremost, thank you all. Now, built for you, we threw a hell of a bunch of stuff into this. This is a phenomenal program. It's been months in the work here, and we finally got it perfect, I think. It's a tiered list, a lot going on, and I'm going to show you about it here soon. So, Mallett Ambassador Club by you, for you. Let's talk about it. Starting off, we have a classic ambassador kit. This is going to be the entry-level ambassador. Once you sign up as an ambassador, this is where you start. If you're just looking to refer people and be involved, maybe talk to some customers along the way, this is where you want to be. you're gonna include it in this is gonna have a premium Mallett Buildings booklet. If you wanna know what that looks like, you gotta be an ambassador. 25 standard brochures and 25 standard referral postcards, you guys. This is gonna come as marketing materials, so you have items to present to customers when they want to visit your property, or if they want to get in touch with you, you can just hand them one of these packets or brochures, and this is gonna depict all the information they'll need to know when looking at a building or moving forward through the process. Very helpful, amazing thing. It's a great guide to go off of. Of course, you have your own journey and experience you would like to share. That's what the ambassador program is for. But this is just a way to guide you to answer those technical questions that, though you probably know, it's nice to have it written down. Now, community and support, what you get, you're gonna have access to our private ambassador Facebook group. We've been working on this as well and making sure this is updated and stepped up even more. You're gonna have access to that. We're also gonna give scripts and suggested groups for posting. So if you wanna make some posts, we have everything written out, everything ready for you, just to make your life that much easier. Now, recognition as a valued member of the program. As you're gonna see soon, we're recognizing some new members today, and we wanna appreciate you and show you all of our thanks and just shower you with all the love and confetti that's coming here soon, because I put confetti in the slides. So get ready for that. Rewards. What do I get as an ambassador? I'm glad you thought that, because we did too, and here's the answers. For every referral that results in a closed building, as usual, you're gonna get a $200 referral check. But there's more. You're an ambassador. We're not just gonna stop there. You're gonna get a free t-shirt or a Mallett branded gift. You're also gonna have ongoing recognition within the Mallett ambassador community. And this tier is gonna be essentially it's gonna be perfect for the customers who prefer to stay behind the scenes while still benefiting from the program. So you're not just gonna get a referral check, you're gonna get a little bit more. You're gonna get some swag, you're gonna get some goodies, you're gonna get some gifts here and there, and you're just gonna be showered with love and affection, because that's what we do. You're gonna be taken very good care of, and you're gonna have all the attention that you choose to have. Now, this is a little example of the brochure and things like that. Sneak peek, little example, not the actual thing, so hang on. But it's gonna have our classic standards, upgrade to the elite, things like that. Just Mallett information. It's a brochure. Now, moving right along, this is the good one, you guys. This is the next level. Look great. Aw. Thanks, Peyton. Thanks, P. Anyway, the signature ambassador kit is gonna be our next step up. This is gonna be the ambassador who is wanting to be as involved as they can be. This one's perfect for customers who enjoy being a part of the spotlight, like me, and want to help us create powerful, authentic content to drive continued $200 referral checks for you. So at this part of the program, the signature ambassador, this is gonna be where you really get the assistance and help to make more money. We want you to make as many referral checks as you can, and the obvious reason being that means you've sent us as many customers as you can, so it's a win-win for everyone. We want to have more closed buildings, and we want you to have more money in your pocket. It's a win-win. How do we achieve that goal? Let's check it out. You're going to get premium Mallett building booklet. You're going to get 25 these are actually custom brochures and custom referral postcards that are going to be on the signature lineup. Features and exposure, you become part of our storytelling. This includes a personalized announcement on our live welcoming you as a new signature ambassador, which is coming next. You're going to have a new full blog feature highlighting your build. That's going to look something like this. If you can see this, guys, it's a little screenshot of the computer. You're going to get a full informational post on our website that's going to stay there as long as you're an ambassador. It's going to include everything about your build, the specs, maybe a story if you choose to, and it's going to have all the information as well as photos of your amazing project for anyone who wants to see it online to get that information. We have a few that are about to go live soon, so check that out on the website, mallettbuildings.com, and you're also going to get a personalized announcement on our live welcoming you as a new, we said that. You're going to get a YouTube video and some short form content as well. We're going to come to your property, film you, interview you, let you tell your story, tell your experience, share your building, because no one is able to show off your building like you are, because it's yours. You know it, you love it, you built it. So we want to give you the recognition you deserve. You're also going to get a dedicated social media feature across all platforms. So we're really going to be highlighting, showing you off, and making sure you get as much attention as possible or as much attention as you want. But these are things that are going to come with features and exposure. This is a great chance to plug something you got going on or just be involved and get more involved in a community that's willing to help give back and just be so loving and caring. Now, speaking of community, our community and tools that you're going to be involved in here, for every referral that results in a closed building, you're also going to get access to our private ambassador Facebook group, a curated list of high converting local Facebook groups, and pre-written captions and share-ready assets for easy posting. What does that mean? What does this access and curated lists involve? These are opportunities that we've already gone through a few pre-qualifying steps to allow you to have the best chance of converting the people you talk to. What does that mean? That means even more money. So when you have a better chance to convert someone, it's like getting you a hot lead. It's like, hey, here's some leads, you guys, our ambassadors, here's some leads. If you feel like reaching out, talking to them, that's awesome. More money for you. As Mr. Tim said, mo money. And here at Mallett, mo money does not mean mo problems. So it just means more money in your pocket. So all you had to do was something you already enjoyed doing, just talking about an amazing process you experienced. But we'll give you the tools and access and pre-written and share-ready assets so you can just share it to these groups. You can just post there and wait for people to contact you. That's really all you have to do. And then you do your thing and be you because you're an amazing human being, and that's why you're part of the ambassador program. So, awesome ways to make more money, you guys. I'm super excited about this. Rewards. For every referral that results in a closed building, of course, a 200 check, free t-shirt, and ongoing recognition as well, plus the other abilities to have more opportunities to make money. This guy's right here, the community and tools, is the real big feature for this group. And the more you get involved, the more these become accessible and eventually more money as well. So keep that in mind. I thought this looked pretty cool, but your building is going to go, like I said, on the blog, and this is the custom brochure. Mr. Tim Tackett, we're using his building as an example here because, of course, as you may know, he's one of our wonderful ambassadors as well. But this is your building, Mr. Tim, and this is a brochure. How cool is that? Hopefully you love it. You're going to get some pretty soon. But speaking of our wonderful ambassadors, here's that confetti I talked about. Welcome our Mallett signature ambassadors, Tim Tackett, Lee Melvin, Jerry Corville, and Bryant Meyer. Thank you all so much and welcome to the Mallett Signature Ambassador Club. Be on the lookout for the Facebook invite here soon. Join the group if you aren't already. And let's get plugged in, get involved, you guys, and let's start making moves together. Thanks. So as of January 1st, we're going to begin shipping out all of the ambassador kits. So you're going to get your brochures, you're going to get PDFs, you're going to get assets, everything we've just talked about, you're going to get starting the first of the year. So be on the lookout for that, be planning for that. And we are just so excited to kick off 2026 with you guys as ambassadors. Again, Mr. Tim Tackett, Mr. Lee Melvin, Mr. Jerry Corville, and Mr. Bryant Meyer. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do for us here at Mallett, and anything we can do to make your life easier, you just let us know. We are here to help, and we're here to grow this wonderful business together, and let's be honest, we're here to make you guys some more money as well. So if that sounds great, smash the like button. I'm kidding. Put ambassador in. I'm not kidding. Hit the like button. Share it with your friends. This is good information. You guys worked hard on this. Anyway, if you're interested in becoming an ambassador, you had to have bought a building from us. Start there. But comment ambassador if you have bought a building from us. And if you're interested in buying a building, comment cash. You'll get $1,000 off, and that's a great way to start the process. I believe so. Now, moving along, the 5 red flags. We love talking about this, you guys. Of course, this is not to throw shade or talk trash. It is simply to educate so you are able to make an informed decision. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. We don't want you purchasing a building from us unless you feel like you're educated enough to make that decision wisely and informed. Because I don't want you signing paperwork on things you don't understand what you're signing paperwork for. That's the issue. We've heard this too many times with other people. They just rush, 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 get the sale, get the sale. I'd rather you be educated. And that's what this is for. This should be the beginning of any process, not just purchasing a building, buying a car, buying a phone, anything you're purchasing. Vet them. Vet the people, vet the company. Make sure you're making a wise decision. Be informed of names. Now, years in business, red flag number 1, check how long they've been around on the Secretary of State website. This one's big because we've been here for 27 years, you guys. We are the longest in business for the post frame accessory building in the Gulf region. We've been doing it the longest, and dare I say, we've been doing it the best this entire time. Now, nothing wrong with fresh business, nothing wrong with someone wanting to venture out on their own and do it themselves, but consider how long they've been in business. Experience, workmanship, craftsmanship, quality, all these things come from experience. You want to make sure the person you're working with has experienced things to be able to learn from their mistakes and make sure they are no longer making those mistakes, which we'll get to shortly. Now, licensure. Ensure the company you're considering doing business with is actually a licensed company. Do that at the Louisiana State Board of Contract, Licensing Board for Contractors, the LSLBC. This one's huge, you guys. You are responsible for anyone who's doing work on your property. And if they don't have a license and something happens, someone gets hurt or is negligent of what they're doing, you're responsible. You are fully responsible. Your homeowner's insurance is responsible, all that, and lawsuits are no fun. So if they have a business, there's a little bit of protection there. There's some accountability on the business, not you as the homeowner, so say directly. But that being said, licensure is so important because you don't just want someone down the road who isn't a licensed contractor come and do contractor work on your business. First off, that's illegal. Second, if they're caught, you will be forced to shut the project down. And worst case scenario, you'll be forced to take the building down and begin from scratch with a licensed contractor. So to save time, money, and headache, just be sure they have a license. Now, contractor violations, this is also found at the LSLBC. On the same topic, you guys, if they're willing to break state law once, chances are they're willing to break state law a second time. And why would you want to risk somebody who is comfortable breaking the law, first off, on your property, but let alone building something on your property? Because that tells me they're comfortable cutting corners, they're comfortable doing things the wrong way, they're comfortable not following rules and guidelines. And when rules are applied to everything we do, they make things a unified, comfortable order, and that's how things are done safely, properly, and to a proper standard. But if they're not willing to keep those standards and they're willing to break the law, they're probably likely to do it with you guys as well. We want to prevent that from happening. Here at Mallett, in 27 years, we have 0 contractor violations, and Mr. Lee himself is actually the chair of the board of the contractor licensing board. So he is not only scrutinized incredibly hard by the board, he is held to a higher standard because he's the one who helps enforce the rules. So therefore, most people are held to these standards. He's held to even higher because he's part of the process and things are looked at even more with him. So we're on a very, very tight leash as far as regulations go, but we like that because it keeps us accountable and keeps us on the right path, and we want to continue to have 0 violations, and we will do what we can. Now, reviews on the BBB and Google. I could stand up here and talk about us all day long and talk about this till we're blue in the face, you guys, but nothing talks about a company better than the public who has worked with said company. I'm proud to say in 27 years we have garnered over 650 reviews now between the BBB and Google. Now, on the Better Business Bureau, we have an A+ rating with them, so as far as they're concerned, we are an A+ rated business. And as far as the public concern is, with over 650 reviews, we have a 4.8 star rating, you guys. After 27 years, over 25,000 buildings on the ground, over 650 reviews, and I've checked, most other people in this business don't even have maybe 10 or 20 reviews, and most of them are bad. It's not funny, but it's funny in an ironic way. But we have a 4.8 star rating from the general public, you guys, and that's people who've worked with us, had experiences with us, and done business with us. So, as in everything, not just us, with everyone, be sure you check the reviews. Check with the public. That's a huge reason why we have our ambassador program, so we can have a public opinion from people who have gone through the process and actually done business with us at Mallett. This is a huge benefit. This is a huge tool and resource for everyone who's involved, and we just are very happy to have that. I see so many posts of barndominium groups of contractors refusing to fix their screw-ups. Why risk it? 100% agree with that, Mr. Tim. People who refuse to fix their mess-ups obviously don't care about their quality and craftsmanship, and worst of all, they don't care about their customer service, and that drives me crazy. Customer service is probably the biggest hill I'm willing to die on, because I think that is the entirety of the experience, no matter how good the product is. So 100%, and I appreciate you for saying that, Mr. Tim. Now, red flag number 5, to wrap these up, visit the contractor's facility. We are so excited for you guys to come to the facility. I hear it every morning in our morning meeting. Who's been at the facility? How many customers have come by? Just because we're so excited. We have a phenomenal facility, you guys. We have a state-of-the-art, high-tech, amazing truss plant that we're knocking out 2x8 scissor trusses, not 2x4 interwebbing, 2x8 all the way through scissor trusses. And it's just amazing. If you've never seen something like that happen, I highly encourage you to come hang out and watch them put these trusses together. It is absolutely incredible how they do this. And there's everything from robots and lasers, which is cool, to just wood. There's a lot of wood here, you guys. I can't stress that enough. But watching all that come together with the the workers, the robots, all this stuff, it's an amazing sight to be seen. And on top of that, we also have our packing plant. We have our wood storage facility, which isn't nearly as interesting. It's just a place to store wood. We have the roll form plant coming soon, which is actually about to have a 200-foot extension. So it's going to be a true plant facility, you guys. It's absolutely incredible. We have our gutter creation area where we put our gutters together. That's just the start of it. You can meet the designers, you can meet the scheduling people, you can meet the people who pour your concrete. You get to meet everyone who's involved in the process, and to me that just makes it so much more special when you can put a face to a name and you're not just getting a phone call from someone you have no idea who they are. You get to talk to them, meet them, and if you're lucky enough, you can come hang out with the marketing team. Because I know I'm a little biased here, but I think, the facts state themselves. We're the coolest department here. We're fun to be around. We're the marketing team, we get to have fun stuff. But anywho, hello. We have fun here, and Mallett's all about a great customer experience, and I promise you it starts here at the facility. So before you consider signing anything, even if it's with us, come shake some hands, talk to some people, and Mr. Lee has said multiple times his personal phone number is out there for everyone, obviously, but he wants more than anything to shake your hand, talk to you, and just hear about what brought you here and hear about you and your story. So I promise you, great experience. We even have popcorn that's better than the movie theater. It's better, first off, because it tastes amazing, but it's better because it's not $17,000 for a bag of popcorn. So that's a fun plus there as well. I like to eat, but anywho, that's the red flags, you guys. Consider those before you purchase anything, but more importantly, a building. Now, why Mallett? We've talked about the rival series earlier, you guys, the 29 gauge metal 4-on-12 roof pitch. I want to explain more in depth why the difference between the rival and the Mallett the classic is so important. And what I mean by not a Mallett building, these standards here are traditional legal standards that are just good enough. And I don't say that to diminish the quality of this building. I say it to improve and emphasize the quality of what Mallett does as its entry-level standard classic building. This is the one that started it all, you guys. And to start, you've heard these specs, I'm going to read these. 26 gauge metal is standard on every Mallett building, first and foremost. 5-on-12 roof pitch also. 2x8 scissor trusses that are third-party inspected, and the roof of these buildings are 170 mile-an-hour wind ratings. That's incredible. Mallett cable lock system, you guys, that's that 1/8 inch aircraft cable that connects post to post all the way around the building underneath through these eye bolts. On top of that, you're going to have a moisture barrier. On top of that, you're going to have with a classic, you're going to have 4-inch, 4,000 PSI concrete. That's incredible concrete, and 4,000 PSI is already 33% stronger than the rival, which is the standard of what most people build. But here at Mallett, we felt that wasn't good enough. And all of this can pretty much be summed up with, we felt the standard just good enough wasn't good enough. So we wanted to raise the bar and raise the standard and set the temperature for everyone else to try and follow, but they haven't yet for whatever reason. But continuing on, concrete's going to go under every post to prevent sinking and unwanted settling. You're going to have 2x12 headers that goes into our 170 mile-an-hour wind rating. 4,000 PSI concrete we talked about. You're going to have skirt board guards for ground protection. We start off with a 4-year workmanship warranty, you guys. A lot of people haven't been in business 4 years. Just keep that in mind, too. Number 1, MCA ground-treated kiln-dried lumber. I love saying that. It's one of my favorite features, I don't know why. But the lumber is going to be ground treated, so it's going to prevent the deterioration in the ground, the elements. It's going to be kiln dried lumber, so all that extra moisture is going to be heated out of there to prevent warping and brittleness. The ground treatment is also going to help prevent from termites and wood destroying insects, so prolonging the life of your wood even longer. And for a building that's framed out all in wood, these benefits seem to be very important to me. Again, I'm still not sure why some people haven't converted to using this, but we're not going to use that number 2 crud. We're going to use number 1 on everything because we're number 1. We may as well use number 1 lumber. Now, we're also going to have our in-house engineer and their team. You met Mr. Darrell yesterday. He is our in-house engineer. They're going to verify everything internally as well, plus our third-party verifications we've talked about. The Rival, Mr. Tim stated it perfect. The Rival is a basic building that meets required building code requirements. That's it. Now, that also leaves you a good budget on there because when it just meets the requirements, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles. Bells and whistles add a little bit to it. But bells and whistles also get you a Mallett Classic if that's where you want to start off with. And I promise you, the Classic is not that much more than a Rival building, especially for what you're getting. The cable lock system by itself, to me, is worth it because as someone who is from Cameron Parish, I used to live in Grand Lake. When Laura came, we had a 40 by 60 shop. And after Laura left, we had no shop. And we had just finished doing a lot of stuff to that shop, you guys. Like a lot of work went into that. It was a huge, for me, it was a huge building. And to see it gone, that sucked. I wish we would have been told about something like this when we built that shop many years ago, but that storm took it. And that's what we want to prevent happening here, you guys. Like I said, if at anything, if nothing else of this sounds important to you, the Mallett cable lock system is something that you should at least do yourself the favor of and speak to a building specialist about it when you talk to someone here at Mallett. It is something that will save your building. Just to put it plain and simple, it will save your building, you guys. So consider that. But this is the Classic compared to the Rival. I just wanted to do a deep dive into that and talk about that with you guys because it is a very important thing to consider. And like Mr. Tim said, the Rival, it's built to basic code requirements. Mallett Classic, which is our entry-level building, is built to the Mallett standard, which far surpasses, as you can tell, basic building requirements. And that's the level of quality and craftsmanship you get here at Mallett. So, it gets better though. Like I said, that's our entry-level building. At the top of the list, we have our elite buildings. So as wonderful and far surpassing standard as the Classic was, this elite is going to be even better. So the Classic's going to have 26 gauge metal. The Elite's going to have 26 gauge premium metal with Zack screws. Zack screws are going to have these little caps on them essentially, and it's going to cover the washer. It's going to cover all the rubber. It's going to cover the seal where the screw goes in. And that washer is going to prevent rust. It's going to prevent the sun from making everything brittle. It's going to prolong the life of the screw, which guess what that does? Prolongs the connection of the metal to the building, prolonging the life of your building leak-free. Now, most people don't use those because they're expensive. And we're willing to eat that because we believe the Zack screws are important. Now, engineered 2x8 scissor trusses. In the Classic, it is 5-foot spacing. In the Elite, it's 3-foot spacing. Our posts, which are 6x6 by the way, are 10-foot on center for the Classic and 9-foot on center for the Elite. That 4,000 4-inch PSI concrete we talked about for the Classic, for the Elite, it's 6,000 6-inch 4,000 PSI microfiber reinforced concrete with control joints. You see where we're going here? See how much better this is getting? Now, you're going to have concrete under each post for both, but you're going to get post protectors thrown in. And hang on. I have one right here. This is a post protector. It's going to go on the post, obviously, and what does it do? It protects it, of course. But according to Post Protector, it prolongs the life of the post up to 500 years. That is generational protection for your post. So it's going to prevent the moisture, the chemicals from the concrete, the microbes from the soil, the wood-destroying insects, everything that lives in the ground from getting to your post and touching and making contact with the post, leading it to rot and decay. This is going to prevent that, you guys. See where we're going here? Getting the picture, right? Now, you're going to have full roof and wall insulation, a continuous ridge vent system for even better ventilation. You're going to have seamless gutters and gutter guards. That's those upside down brooms we talked about that help keep debris out of the gutters, so less work for you. You're going to get wainscot added because it's beautiful. You're going to have 145 mile per hour engineered wind rating. So we talked about the Rival and the Classic both having 130. The Elite's going to have 145. So as Mr. Tim was talking about on the Gulf Coast, when you get closer to the coast, those wind ratings become a lot more serious. Those wind ratings become a lot more important. So the Elite is for 145 with a roof that's 170. I don't know many people who can get to that or beat that, but that's going to be crucial the closer you get to the coast. Now, 10-year workmanship warranty on our Elites because we're that confident. Fully engineered systems signed and sealed per the ASCE 7. That's going to be our engineering oversight. You're going to get all those. And with everything Mallett, you get the stamp plans and everything as well sent where they need to be sent to as well to you. But as you can tell, our Classic's already blowing the standards out the water. The Elite is just on a whole other level. No one can compete with that. And that's something we're proud of here at Mallett. So that is the comparisons of everything. Hopefully that is an educational segment for you guys. Hopefully you learned a little bit. If so, like the video, share it with a friend. Hopefully they can learn something too. And if they're considering a post frame building, here's our number, 337-214-0428. That sounds about right, huh? Yeah, that sounds about right. Anywho, moving right along, Permit Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the permitting in 78956, which is Schulenburg, Texas, you guys. Our first day of permitting in Texas. I'm excited for this one. So, permitting in 78956, this was submitted by Mr. Matura. Hopefully I said your name right, sir. If not, I apologize. It looks like Matura, though. So, we're going to cover accessory buildings, post-frame shops, barns, garages, and barndominiums. Jurisdiction depends on city limits versus Fayette County. If I say parish, I'm from Louisiana. I may say that, but these are counties. We're in Texas. Today's goal, what requires a permit, how the process works, and how customers stay compliant. That's what we hope to cover and educate on today. So let's get right into it. Oh, it's 2140428. I was correct. Anywho, who handles permitting in this area? The city of Schulenburg, the building permits and inspections. So here's their address. If you're in the area, it's going to be 535 North Main Street here in Schulenburg. Their phone number is listed here, 979-743-4126. What does this company or this division oversee? They oversee the building permits, code enforcement, zoning and land use, utility connection approvals, inspections via the Bureau Veritas. And outside city limits may follow Fayette County rules. Call the city first to confirm. So if you're on the outside or outside of city limits, you may fall under Fayette County, but this is going to be focusing on the area that is in Schulenburg. So keep that in mind. Call to confirm. I recommend that for everything. If you have a question, call to confirm. You're never a nuisance. You're being educated. Now, what requires a permit? Nearly all structures or utility work in this area are going to require a permit, but let's give you a quick checklist. Accessory buildings, metal shops, garages, barns, post-frame buildings and barndominiums, additions, expansions, structural remodels, all require permits. So that pretty much checks the majority of what's going to be built. Now, decks that are over 100 square foot or demolition involving utilities. So even if you're tearing down and it involves removing utilities, that's going to need a permit in this area. Slabs over 100 square foot, foundations and sidewalks over 50 square foot. So keep that in mind. Again, this seems like it's a very strict area, but they just want to make sure things are done properly. Now, fences that are 6 foot plus, tall, keep that in mind. Electrical, plumbing, HVAC, irrigation, and backflow, so these utilities. If you're doing pools, which are in ground, and they include above ground with utilities, and electric signs. So that's a wide array of things here that need a permit. But don't worry. What does not require a permit? Cosmetic or minor work only. What does that include? Countertops, siding replacement, flooring, painting, sheetrock installation, fixtures and switches, fence repairs, under one full section. Once you exceed a full section, it's going to require a permit. Tree trimming, call 811 first. And any above ground pools with no utilities, you do not need a permit for. So, rule of thumb, if utilities are involved, call first. You likely need a permit, is what I'm gathering from all this. But as you can see, these do not require permits. So if you're doing anything like this, feel free to do whatever you want. Now, barndominiums and post-frame home rules. Yes, they are allowed in Schulenburg. Apparently that was a difficult conversation, but yes, they are involved here, or they're allowed. But they must meet the following requirements. Engineered structural plans have to be submitted. Engineered foundation design also must be submitted. So you have to have a floor plan and site plan, including the setbacks. The setbacks, just as in our parish, as we've talked about, are very important. That is how far from the property lines your building has to be. You're also going to need a utility layout, so this goes into our conversation from last week about proper planning. Make sure everything is considered beforehand because you'll need a utility layout. Now, a 2020 NEC, you're also going to need an IRC structural, mechanical, and plumbing codes. Everything has to meet these codes. You're also going to need zoning and wind load compliance. This goes back to our comparison chart. Certain areas require different wind loads. At Mallett, we're here to help with that. We've engineered things to meet various wind load ratings. So we start from 130 to 145 standard, but let us know where you're at, and we can obviously talk to our engineers and see where we can go on that. Mallett provides all engineered drawings required for review. Anything engineering or stamps or drawings or plans, we can help take care of or go a step further and take care of it for you on your behalf. Keep that in mind. We'd love to help. We'd love to make sure your process is as easy as possible because there's a lot going on. You shouldn't be stressed about it. Now, permit application requirements. What Schulenburg needs to approve your project? If you're like to say, if you're taking notes, this is the time to get your pencil out. What you need to approve your project here is the project address and structure description. They're going to want a detailed description of what you are putting on your property. I know it's your property, but they're going to want a detailed description because they have to know what they're approving. Now, they're going to need to know the square footage and the owner's information, how to contact you, where to contact you, things like that. You're going to need the contractor info and license numbers. See, this goes back to the red flags. If you're choosing to work with somebody who doesn't have a license, you won't even be able to get approved in Schulenburg. Now, that could be huge because some people don't always do things in order, unfortunately, and they may go purchase a building from someone who doesn't have a license, not knowing. They didn't read the red flags, they didn't do their due diligence, not because they chose not to, they just simply weren't informed to do so. Not necessarily their fault, but we want to help prevent that. Of course, contractor info and license numbers, you only get that if you're a licensed contractor. So you have to have that here. Utility connection details, this goes back to the utility planning. You're also going to need a valuation of the project to see how much it's going to cost to put this project together. This goes back to Mr. Darrell's live, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, where he talked about what's the cost. You need to have proper planning to understand what this project is going to cost. You don't want to get halfway through and realize, oh dang, I can't afford this anymore. Know what everything is going to cost, account for excess, and account for things going, I call them uh-ohs. Account for uh-ohs, and you should be okay. But submit all of this, and that's how you get your permit approved. Now, important things to remember. All permits require a final inspection. Seems pretty explanatory. It's pretty simple there. Permits also expire after 180 days of inactivity. So there's a time frame here, you guys, about 6 months right there. Be sure you get things done in a timely and orderly manner, or you gotta start the whole process over again. Now, this is what to know to get approved for your project here in Schulenburg. Now, zoning, setbacks, and restrictions. Check these before submitting. You're going to want to check the front, side, and rear setbacks. Again, that is how far it is from the property line. Make sure you're in compliance with your regulations in your area. Your easements, utility, drainage, access. Be sure you're able to access areas in the proper ways to make sure you can get to utility, drainage, and access. You want to know your max building height. If you're doing it by 12, by 14, on 16, figure out how much higher it is, because here at Mallett we use scissor trusses, so you get a lot more headroom for your building. So understand the max building height and what that's going to be. And in your area, if you have restrictions for your building height, if they say you can't have it more than X amount of feet, you don't want to build Y and not be able to get that taken care of. They want to approve your building at that point. Driveway and drainage rules, understand where the driveway can be, how the drainage has to run, don't want to cause flooding in the area. Residential placement rules for barndominiums. There's a lot of restrictions sometimes, depending on your area, on barndominiums. We will work around that, but we have to understand where you are and what those rules are, and we need to all be on the same page of what we can and cannot do per the restrictions in your area. Now, the site plan must reflect all setbacks and easements. We will help you with this. By the time you leave here, you will have all your engineered paperwork, you will have all your site plans, you will have everything you need to bring and get a permit. We're happy to help with that. Trust us, we've done this a few times. So, required inspections. These are inspections you're going to have before this process is over. So this is what to expect. These are going to be performed by the Bureau Veritas, as we talked about earlier. A typical sequence is going to go as such: foundation slab, framing, electrical rough-in, plumbing rough-in, mechanical and HVAC, and then the final building inspection. Scheduling, you have to request it before 5 o'clock p.m. Monday through Friday. That's their business hours. Your next business day inspections is how you're going to be scheduled typically. Then you're going to need phone. You can call them at phone, fax, or email. And this is the email: inspectionstexas@us.bureauveritas.com. I'll read it again for those who need it. inspectionstx@us.bureauveritas.com. This is where you go to schedule all those inspections for this area, and it seems to be the state of Texas. So keep that in mind. Pretty sure we're going to have that in the chat here soon. Make sure you check that link, and if that is something you need, this is where you schedule your inspections. Now, contractor registration, very important, very important. All contractors must register with the city. So this goes back to licensure. They have to be a licensed contractor to register, but they must register with the city of Schulenburg. Now, accepted license types are as follows: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, irrigation, backflow specialists, energy providers. And you're going to need required documents. This is what you're going to need: a state license, a driver's license, and company information. So that tells me, and this is a good rule of thumb for anybody, not just people in this area, when you're researching your contractors, when you're hopefully interviewing them, when you're hopefully asking all the questions to who's going to be building your building or doing work for you, ask them, can I see your state license? Maybe not ask them for their driver's license. That could be a little personal and not necessary for these moments, but ask for their state license and company information. I don't see why they'd have a problem giving you information about themselves if it's public information anyway. And in Louisiana, you can check that on the LSLBC. So keep that in mind. Consider asking for the state license and company information. That is going to be a game changer, and it'll probably help weed out all the negative people who aren't licensed and willing to work with you. Now, customer tips for a smooth permit. How Mallett customers can avoid delays. If you're like me, you hate waiting when you don't have to wait. This is a great tool to use for avoiding those delays and waiting. Submit engineered plans early. As I said, we will provide you with everything you need to submit. As soon as you have them, submit them. It's earlier the better. Confirm zoning and setbacks before finalizing your layout. Again, we'll help you with that. We'll get you in contact with who you need to get those informational pieces, and we'll help finalize that for you. Speaking of finalizing, you need to finalize utilities before forming crew arrives. They need to know where your electrical, where your plumbing, where all of your utilities are going to be, because they have to form around that and in coordination with what you want and where you want it. So you need to know that beforehand, and I recommend when you work with Mallett, talk to our building specialist and or your designer and tell them what your future plans are for this building. If it's a craft shop and you know you're going to be doing this craft in this area, that in this area, plan accordingly. If it's going to have a little in-law suite or something like that, you know you're going to need plumbing, electrical, things like that. Plan accordingly. If you catch my drift, you know where this is going. Just planning is key. Now, keep inspection documents organized. I recommend getting a binder or a folder and putting it in the junk drawer. Maybe not the junk drawer, but wherever you put your important information, store this with there. Avoid mid-project changes without checking permit impact. I highly recommend, if you're going to change anything, call us and call the permitting office you're involved with, because they're going to tell you if this is an approved change or if you have to resubmit information to get a new or updated permit for that change. This could set you back a long time and a lot of money if it's not done properly. So keep this in mind. This is what I talked about, proper planning beforehand. And of course, coordinate inspection readiness ahead of time. Make sure you have scheduling on speed dial, because it's going to be important for you because you have to plan your inspections. So that being said, know when things are going to be done and plan accordingly for that timeline. Now, barndominium PFH special notes. This is just some extra considerations we want you to know of. Mr. Tim, thank you very much. I'm having a great time. Extra considerations for residential post frame builds. Energy compliance documents are required, so keep those handy. Utility connection plans must be approved. So we talked about utility planning. They have to be approved as well. Foundation engineering must match soil conditions. Setbacks are often more strict than accessory buildings. Inspections are more extensive than shop and barn projects. So, just a few special notes, things to consider. As I say, write that down, save it in the memory bank for later. It'll be important. Now, outside the city limits, we talked about this a little earlier. Let's give you a little bit of information about that, and we'll call it a day. Fayette County projects. The county may have fewer structural permitting requirements, which is a plus. Utility providers may still require inspections. I always say, consider everything is going to be inspected. Just keep that mindset. Everything's going to be inspected. Always be wondering when I'm scheduling my inspection. Always call Schulenburg first to confirm your jurisdiction. As we started off saying, if you're on the outside the city limits area, you may fall into Fayette County projects. So, that being said, confirm. Call the county, call Schulenburg. I'd say call both, because they may give you different answers depending on who's talking to you that day. Rural areas often have zoning or land use restrictions via subdivision covenants. These covenants are going to almost be like hidden text and things like that, so make sure you research those areas, ask your zoning and the permitting office about that, and ensure that you're not breaking any covenants and have issues down the line with your subdivision, as Mr. Tim says, by humbug HOAs. Now, common mistakes to avoid. What slows customers down the most? Here's a few roadblocks we've experienced we want to warn you about to help better prevent these from happening to you. Not knowing if property is in city limits, we just talked about that. Skipping zoning or easement verification, this can be huge because you may have to move that building. Changing building size after plans are engineered. As we said, this is going to put you behind the 8 ball because you have to resubmit permits. You have to resubmit basically everything, a new design package, a new engineering plan. Everything has to be redone because you change the size of the building after the plans are engineered. This also potentially throws off the engineering if everyone's not on the same page and things don't get done properly. So keep those changes in the forefront. Requesting concrete before utilities are planned. This will mess you up big, because when we pour that concrete, it's a lot harder to pull the concrete up and start over than it is to pour it once. Plan, plan, plan. We iterate this every day, multiple times. I'm going to say it at least 3 times, because that's what science says it takes for people to understand what we're talking about. Plan your concrete, plan your concrete, plan your concrete with your utilities. Cool. So, missing contractor license information. I feel like we've gone over that enough to that's important information. Make sure they're licensed. If they're not, don't do business with them. It's that simple. And letting the permit sit inactive for over 180 days. As I mentioned, you have a timeline on which that permit is good, about 6 months or 180 days to be exact. Make sure things are done in that process. Here at Mallett, you should be done far within that process, but if everyone's not on the same page, things can drag out, and we don't want that happening. Now, how Mallett helps aside from everything we've talked about? Glad you asked. Our part of the process, we're going to provide the full engineering plan set. We're going to provide foundation engineering if it's applicable. We're going to help ensure the site plan matches the building placement because we're going to double check everything. Communicate inspection expectations. We're going to let you know what to expect inspection-wise, how it's going to look, when it's going to be, what they're going to look for, the whole caveat of what's going to be involved in that inspection. We're going to coordinate with the contractors as needed, don't worry, and we're going to assist you, the customer, when the city asks for clarifications. We are here every step of the way. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people here on this team who would just love to be involved in this process. From the moment you call about a building and talk to a building specialist, to the end, when you've had a wonderful customer journey, your building is built, and you want to be part of our ambassador club and you get to talk to us, we are here every step of the way, start to post-finish. Post-frame, post-finish. We're here every step of the way. Now, a few quick things. I believe we have these PDFs already uploaded in the comments, but if not, we'll have them there. This is a permit versus no permit list. We're really going to need to have that in the comments if we don't. It's already in there. So because this is difficult to go over, this is all the list of fees, what needs permits. It's going to tell you how much it's going to cost and if there's inspections involved. Very helpful list for the Schulenburg area. You're also going to, that's for residential. There's stuff for commercial as well. So permits required for residential, permits not required for residential and commercial. Very informational. You're also going to have residential permit application and trade requirements. We've put this application in the comments as well. If that applies to you, please download it, have that ready. It is available for you to use. We hope it makes your life that much easier. Now, requested zip code. We wanted to show this because we're proud. To be honest with you guys, we did not expect as many of you to start requesting zip codes for the permitting day as much as you have. And just to let you know what's coming up, we are going to have 70633 Beauregard, requested by Pam B. 70517 in St. Martin Parish, requested by Sharon P. 70817, requested by John L. And anonymous requests for 70514, 70592, and 70656. If you fall into one of these areas, tune in every Tuesday. We'll be getting to you shortly. If you don't see your area on here and you want more information, or you're considering building a barndominium, an accessory building, buying land somewhere and want to know if you can put a shop on it, anything in the accessory building, be sure you leave us a comment with your zip code and area, and we will do our best. It'll be on the list, and we'll get to it as soon as possible, and we will give you as much information as we possibly can, just like we did today, because we want to make sure, as I said, you don't buy anything until you are well educated. Now, that being said, here's Mr. Snowman. Thanks for watching. That's been the day today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like the video, share it with someone who you think could use it, and be sure to follow the page for more information. We are live every weekday, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow. I'm Tyler. Thanks for watching.